And the way that Bruce trained, he trained very intense to get to a high level in the martial art, in the survival combat aspect of it. And when you're talking about survival, it's not a game to be. It's not it's not something to laugh about. This is real, the real deal. This is war. You know, and it's not some of these, you know, these silly games that people might be doing in the movies. Like Jackie Chan would, you know, do these, you know, cool stunts and stuff like that, and these funny gestures, but that's not the real martial art. And a lot of this, you know, this competition fighting is not real martial art. The real martial art is brutal, and a lot of times it's life or death. It's war. Just like if you go to real war, like right now, and you actually go to war, and you have to kill the enemy, really there's not going to really be any smiles going on around. It's going to be a very serious encounter, fighting for your life. And that's what Bruce trained in, and that's what he would represent in his movies. Like a very, the real martial arts, this is the real combat. And you see that when he killed somebody, he's not laughing. He's just the real, you know, you're taking somebody's life. It's not a fun, you know, it's not something that you should enjoy doing. This is something that you just had to do because you needed to protect yourself or whatever, based on the situation. Now, Jet Li, for example, would play the martial arts. He was a performer. You know, he was practicing wushu. Then he became an actor. And he's a martial artist, but more on the performance. Not so much as Bruce Lee to actually be so in depth about the actual real combat. I see Jet Li to be more of a performance martial artist, but closer to real martial arts than Jackie Chan, much more closer, but not the real martial art like Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee was so intent on discovering the most effective ways of real combat. And he put so much of his time and energy in discovering the most scientific way to be the most efficient martial artist, true martial artist that you can be. He was basically like laying down the foundation of the martial arts as Einstein did during his time of discoveries, laying down the foundation so then others can work from that. And really, once the foundation is laid down, there's no reason to redo it. It's there. And that's what he did. So, as a martial artist, as an artist, I wish to help continue the teachings of Bruce. Not just Bruce, but of the Chinese culture, of Eastern philosophy, continuing on what Bruce was unfortunately could not do himself because he died earlier, too early. As far as the combat is concerned, he laid the foundation down already. There's no need to redo it. It's all there. I say that if you really want to develop yourself in the combat aspect of the martial art, you should really study Bruce, study all his movies, study his movements, study all his books, and really learn the technique and understand the technique through his teachings. But as far as the spiritual is concerned, he wasn't able to touch enough on that, because he was taken away too early. So I will continue the spiritual and educate the public on the true spirit behind the martial arts, behind Kung Fu, the teachings of Buddha, of Zen, of Tao, of Lao-Tzu, J. Krishnamurti, Osho, because it's needed in this martial arts community. It's in lack. People don't know what martial art is until Bruce came and showed a glimpse of it, but he wasn't able to show the entire full picture because he died unexpectedly. So I wish to finish that full picture by exposing the spiritual aspect of the martial arts. And it was saying how Bruce would teach his disciples one thing and then train in something else himself. And it was saying when it came to meditation, he wouldn't talk to anybody about the meditation. He would keep that within himself. And I think maybe he did that because he knew that was the secret to getting to a very high level, is that meditation. The spiritual is the secret. And he didn't mind exploiting the technique, but as far as the spiritual, the meditation, he kept to himself. I wonder why he did that, but I'll do the opposite. I will exploit the meditation, the spiritual, but I'll keep the technique private. Because ultimately I believe the meditation and the spiritual will make a better humanity. And if you want to go beyond Bruce, I say that you analyze his life and see where he was in lack, and then develop yourself so you don't have that lack. So they were saying, for example, that he would lose his temper very often, very impatient. So what I say is learn to understand yourself so that you will rarely lose your temper. Learn to understand yourself so that you will rarely be controlled by emotions of anger. And they're saying that Bruce Lee was having had a mistress and was having an affair, an ongoing affair. And Linda's ex-husband was saying how he was cheating on his on Linda before and during the marriage. So maybe Bruce Lee's sexual life was not, maybe he didn't have a firm grasp of it. Maybe he didn't apply the wisdom that he learned into his sexual life. And as martial artists, that's something that we could learn to better within ourselves, within our relationships. Just like Bruce was very fit, but that doesn't mean that we can't be more fit. Bruce was a great fighter, but it doesn't mean that we can't be even better. Bruce was a spiritual individual, but it doesn't mean that we can't become more spiritual. See that we can go beyond the standard that he established, which is a very high standard, but I believe it could go higher, much higher. And it's been shown, maybe not too recently, but in ancient times it's been shown. Buddha lived a life where that's the way. Lao-Tzu lived a life which was the way. Osho lived a life which is the way. So I think that as martial artists, we should follow that way and go beyond Bruce. And as a teacher, that's what I'll always promote for everybody that I train, and for everybody that ever becomes inspired by any of the videos I put, is to go beyond what I can do. Go beyond what I could do physically, mentally, spiritually, and keep going further to keep bettering yourself. But in a healthy way, not in an unhealthy way like what Bruce did. Not in an unhealthy way like what you see these cage fighters do. I say to better yourself in a healthy way so that you live a long, happy, and peaceful life. You know, it was also saying how he would be training one of the celebrities, and the celebrity that he was training was not that fit. And he was jogging and running with Bruce, and Bruce just kept going faster and faster, and the celebrity guy couldn't keep up. And he said to Bruce, you know, if I gotta stop, if I keep going, I'm gonna die. Then Bruce told the guy, then die. Then the celebrity got upset, and he kept running and running because he was so mad. And then in the shower, Bruce said, you can't allow yourself to be limited. You can't set these limitations on yourself. You gotta go beyond these limitations, and if you die, then you die. Well, really, I don't believe in that. I think that ultimately that's what ended up taking his life. Going too far, never relaxing, never sleeping, overworking, going too fast, just overstressed. It shouldn't be like that. That's not the way of the Tao. Effortless effort, Wu Wei, is the way of the Tao. Okay? You should just flow. And when it comes to, things, as far as trying, it should come natural. Just like we all need sleep. And we all need to be active. There needs to be a balance. We need to find that balance within our lives.